Now that we turn this into this, we're gonna paint it. But first, how did we get here? Alright, so Tech Chucker over on YouTube put out a challenge to make a fire hydrant using only foam and also using nothing you can plug in. So these are all the tools that I used. And I use this to measure it, of course, measure out my block. And then, as much as I wish I could tell you that I just took that block and whittled it away until it looked like this, that's not the case. I took an inch off that block, put it to the side, and then made smaller discs with that 1 inch leftover piece. For the 3 inches, I carved the center of this. The whole centerpiece got carved out, and all the additional pieces got carved out with the shavings that I took off and the extra inch that I took off the top. This blade is very, very dull, and I was too lazy and can't find the other blades I got to replace it, so that's why my block looked all tattered up. Once I got it into a cylinder shape, then I started sanding. Now, to get that cylinder shape, I just used various diameters, so I got out a bunch of change. So this is the centerpiece's diameter is 1/4. So this centerpiece, main piece, is a width of 1/4. And then all the knobs get smaller and smaller. So I used dime, nickel, penny. And then also for the smallest one, I used the top of this thumbtack. And what I did is just pressed it into the foam and then cut around that indentation, and then use various sanding tools to get it down. And on the smaller pieces, this came in really handy. These sanding sticks, which I got for customizing action figures, but they really come in really easy to get that small ones. And to hold the small ones, I got tweezers. Now, I pulled out change for all the diameters because that's what I first thought. That's my first inclination to do. Not knowing that I could have just grabbed this and just drew whatever diameter I wanted on the foam and cut to that. But, you know, I thought about that afterwards. With this sandpaper, you see this piece, how it has that U shape right there so it could fit onto the cylinder? All these. So this centerpiece, I wrapped this around that centerpiece, and then I took this piece of foam and just sanded it down until it formed the shape. So then I took the sanding paper away and put it up against there and went to town until it all looked good. And also I kept sanding until I got as nice a circle as I could. And then there's super random chunks, real tiny chunks. And I just use those for rivets and stuff. I put these in squares so it looks like, you know, a bolt that a wrench would have to open it up. And it's not, the only reference picture I looked at was how to see how tall it would be. And it's around 3 feet, so it would be around 3 inches. And I didn't use a hot glue gun because I had to plug that in, so I left that out, but I did use this super gold foam safe super glue. And I found this on the link of one of Boylai Hobby Times videos. Go check his videos out. He's awesome. And yeah, some people just don't think that sanding is gonna get the foam looking very smooth, but man, if you get fine enough sanding paper, it'll get down to the nitty gritty pretty smooth. Took me about 2 hours. I have sculpted things before out of foam, but never a fire hydrant, so this is my first fire hydrant. And to paint this up, I'll be using Vallejo Environment Rust Texture. Then I'm going to apply a method that I saw on High School Creations YouTube called the salt method, where I will sprinkle salt in certain areas, dab some water down, put the salt on the water, and dab it on some parts of the rust. And then I will be painting the whole thing Everland Sunset from Citadel. Then once that all dries, I just wipe off the parts that have the salt on it and it'll expose some of the rust. In my head, I'm picturing a yellow type of fire hydrant instead of a red or blue, or I'm picturing a yellow one, so it's gonna be yellow. Let's get to painting. So what we got is a rusty, texturized type of paint going on. I'm gonna let it dry. Then I will add the salts and go from there. So this is the first time I've ever tried this salt method, so we'll see how this turns out. Once again, shout out to High School Creations for showing this to everybody. Check his YouTube out, he's awesome. Right now I'm gonna go in, and if there's any too big of a clumps, I'll just wipe them off. And I guess, I think the salt method will work out because of how randomized it is. And it can get real tiny specks to show through, whereas a paintbrush will be more difficult. I mean, it's just a real cool method to try out, especially if you've never tried it before. So I threw a few shades of yellow on this thing. I'm gonna let it dry, and then we'll see how it looks when I take all that salt off. quick last minute decision here. I'm over here at office.com and I'm copy and pasting some of my drawings that I've done. And right now I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Resize it real small. So I resized these really small and now I'm gonna print them out on some sticker paper. And now I have some mini slabs. This is my finished fire hydrant. Shout out to Tech Chucker. Check him out, check his YouTube out. This weekend Dioramas, it's awesome. It was a fun challenge to be a part of. It goes on to the end of October. This is October 2022. He's looking for at least 15 people to participate, so I know for me personally, it was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed, and no matter what, just have fun with it. All right, Star Marvel 76. See you on the next one.